Today, folks, we're going to feel the impacts of this winter system that's going to be pushing through our area. Freezing rain, that's what we're looking at, and that can be treacherous. Any amount of ice, whether it's a tenth of an inch all the way up to an inch, will cause some problems for our area. Obviously, closer to the inch, you're talking about catastrophic issues as far as damage to trees and also power lines, long-term power outages once you start getting up to that inch point. Now, you're looking at travel becoming an issue. Our conditions will start to deteriorate as we head through the day today, especially going into tomorrow. Sunday is when we're expecting to see the bulk of the freezing rain in our area before it begins to push out, and then much colder air will come in back behind the system, which will refreeze what's already on the ground. So we're expecting these conditions or these impacts to linger right on into next week. And so we got some time with this one, folks. If you have not been out already, you want to get out and get back in as quickly as possible for today. You notice the ice storm warning has been extended a little bit further down to the south to include the Atlanta metro area. We're expecting significant accumulations really from the city of Atlanta up here toward the north and east. And so that's where we're expecting to see the higher totals or higher accumulations of ice. Just to the south of that, we have the winter weather advisories, where we're expecting to see some accumulations, obviously not as high as what we're going to see in the purple areas here, but that will have impacts as well, trying to navigate around on the streets and getting in and out, and also power outages, folks. Those are our two main concerns with this particular system. This ice storm warning will take effect this afternoon, 1 o'clock, and will last all the way through Monday, 10 o'clock. We're expecting those temperatures, again, to drop on us a bit, especially as we head into Monday. So we will get some sunshine in here, but our temperatures will not warm up all that much, and that's going to keep the issues going as far as the effects from this particular ice storm. Here's some good news. The models have backed off a little bit as far as the coverage, as far as the precipitation goes. We're expecting some warmer air to try to get in here on Sunday. That will help out as far as changing over the precipitation to rain. So we'll get some mixing taking place by Sunday afternoon, expecting some rain to begin to take over before the precipitation ends. But until then, we're expecting the ice to come in. Now, likely not to see that until we get toward the latter afternoon and then toward the evening. And those ice accumulations have been pretty consistent from Atlanta all the way up here toward the north and west. And now they backed off a little bit on the amount, the totals of 1 inch, but you get some isolated spots that could get up to an inch. Generally speaking, though, you're talking about 3/4 of an inch of ice in places like Murrayville up toward Tiger. That extends almost down into Gwinnett County, as you can see, where we have this blue area here. You're talking about 1/4 of an inch of ice, and that is even problematic for a lot of us. 1/10 of an inch of ice, you're talking about glaze on the roadways. That ice will collect on your windshield, on your car, higher elevated surfaces. You start to see a glaze there. Now, once we get to 1/4 of an inch, which a large part of our area will likely see, you're talking about icy roads. Don't want to be out in conditions like that. Tree limbs will start to sag, if not starting to break on us, especially after the storm ends, because what's going to happen is we're going to see the winds begin to pick up, and that will start to blow things around. And with that ice weighing down trees and also power lines, those will begin to break. Numerous power outages with 1/4 of an inch of ice. And again, that's the bulk of our area. Now, up into the northeastern corridor of the state, looking at 1/2 an inch and above. And that's where we'll have dangerous travel conditions, if not impassable roads where you can't even get out or even try to make it down a road, right? You got widespread tree damage, widespread power outages as well. Long-term power outages is possible when you have 1/2 inch or greater, okay? And I can't express to you enough how much the weight of that ice really bears down on things. Even, for example, I've been using the example of a mailbox as that accumulates on that. If that's a wooden pole there, it may even snap that. That's how heavy that ice is. Coupled along with the winds that will be blowing. Those winds will be gusting up to about 30 miles per hour. Looking at the radar right now, there's not a whole lot going on. The onset of this precipitation likely not reaching the ground. I was watching over toward the Rome area, finally saturating. You see how it ran through there for a little while, finally saturating that area, and then saw a couple of raindrops there. This is showing where we could be seeing some mixing, especially in the higher elevations of the North Georgia mountains, then back off toward the northwest as well. No doubt Dade, Walker County got a little bit of snow mixing in with maybe some sleet up there to the far north. What you see as far as the rainfall, that's over toward the Athens area. Really haven't seen any or heard of any reports of any of that reaching the ground at all. It's going to take some time for it to saturate the upper levels, and eventually it will get to the surface. Over here toward the Rome area, for example, let's take a live look there, and you can see where the winds are starting to pick up a little bit there, and you can see the roadways are damp. So we've had some rain that has pushed through that area. Temperatures in this area have been above the freezing mark, and so we're still there. You're looking at 36 degrees right now over into George's Rome, 31 up toward Dalton, which is why I'm saying there's some mixing that's taking place there. Again, we haven't seen anything reach the ground over toward Canton as it continues to push further over toward the east. Even Blairsville above the freezing mark at 34. You see we're in the 40s here in Atlanta down to the south. And so those temperatures will be falling as we head through the day. Much of the day will stay right where we are. In fact, these may very well be our highs for today as those temperatures will continue to fall, especially by tonight. And that's when we're expecting as far as the winter precipitation start to amp up around here tonight, going into the wee hours of the morning on Sunday, and then during the morning on Sunday as well when we see the bulk of it. This is a huge system. I know we're focused on our area, but you can see all the way up into Boston, all the way back toward Albuquerque, New Mexico is where the effects of this system will have great impacts. Places like Wichita, St. Louis, Cincinnati, over toward Washington, D.C., down toward Raleigh. Memphis seeing snow right now, expecting some warmer air to move in there, and they'll start to get in on some of that ice as well. These purple areas that we have over us and back off to the west is where we're looking at the ice storm warnings, but you can see a widespread area being impacted by this storm. Area of low pressure still back off to the west of us. That will continue to slide eastward. Above that is where we have the mixing taking place, where we have sleet and freezing rain, and then above that is where we have the snow. I mentioned Memphis earlier. You can see that's where they have the snow right now. Expecting that area of low pressure to slide to the northeast, and so they'll start to get in on some of that freezing precipitation as well. That will continue to spread our way as well. Now, as we get into the day tomorrow, this area of low pressure will start to slide up in our direction. It's going to drag a cold front through the area, and that's where we're expecting some of that warmer air to get in here. It's going to be two things that we're watching, all right? We're going to be watching what we've been talking about as far as a wedge is concerned, and then that warmer nose of air getting in here, and which will happen. Will the wedge erode because of the warm air, or will it hang on, especially up here toward the northwest? We talk about a wedge, that's that cold air that dams up against the mountains. It kind of locks in place, and so as that precipitation rises over it with the cold air still in place, that still could mean freezing rain for us. But this is how our forecast track model times it out. And so you can already see what's already moving into our area, mainly in the form of rain, even though our forecast track model is painting snow up here because it's predicting or forecasting that the temperatures will be cold enough to support that. Notice the lift there. Clouds for the most part everywhere else, right on through the afternoon. I think our temperatures during the afternoon will still be in the 40s, or at least right around the 40-degree mark, and then we'll watch those temperatures begin to fall off. Here we are by 8 o'clock at night. Up here to the north is where we're going to find that freezing rain beginning. Maybe rain on the onset for us, but then that will start to change, or we'll start to mix with some freezing rain first before it changes over into all freezing rain. And you can see a wide area of it as we head through the overnight. This is by midnight on Sunday morning. We'll be dealing with that freezing rain coming down. It will be with us right on into the morning on Sunday. It'll be off and on, as we see, right on through 7 a.m. By 8 a.m., still dealing with it. And then a front will start to slide through. That area of low pressure will start to lift to the north. It's going to drag a cold front through. Right along this line here is where we'll see some very gusty winds. We'll also be watching for the potential for a thunderstorm or two. That's certainly possible as that begins to push through. Will the wedge hold on? And you can see on our particular model, it's starting to erode it a little bit, where up here to the far northeast, we're still dealing with some of that snow coming down. And because this is heavy precipitation, not snow, but freezing rain, that would be some large amounts of that freezing rain, which is why we think the higher totals will be up into the northeast. That continues to push through. We'll get some rain on the back end of this. Will help to wash some of that ice away, but it's not going to be a whole lot. And once that moves through and gets out of the way, you'll notice our winds begin to shift out of the north, and that's when that colder air will start to move in, and that's going to refreeze a lot of what's already on the ground. And so that means that we'll be dealing with the impacts of this even longer, okay? Those winds will begin to pick up on us as well. Even though we'll get the sunshine in here on Monday, our temperatures will only rise to about 32 degrees, if that. May not even get that high, and so everything will be on the cold side. So even with the sunshine, we won't have a whole lot of falling that will take place. And what does thaw? Through the overnight, we'll see those temperatures down into the teens, and even some single digits. It's going to certainly feel like the single digits on the outside, so you definitely have to be on the lookout. So this will drag right on into Monday. Again, even though you see the sunshine here, we will be feeling the impacts of the wet roads and the cold air that's going to be with us. Notice the start temperature on Tuesday morning. I think we'll still have some slick spots around on Tuesday morning with temperatures down to around 15 degrees. 39 degrees on Tuesday, and then finally back to the 40s as we head into Wednesday. Things should begin to get better by then, but this could very well linger right on into Thursday of next week as far as the impacts go. And I haven't even mentioned the power outages, right? And how long that will take to get folks back online, because you're still going to be dealing with the winds, you're still going to be dealing with those cold temperatures, and so that will play a role in getting folks back online. We will be here, folks, pretty much all day long. In fact, our coverage begins at 8:30. We'll be here to update you on everything that's going on, give you the fresh look at the models and what you could expect in your neighborhood and the impacts that will be in effect in your area from this winter storm. Keep it locked right here.